Andrew.
Well, good afternoon, Drew Dudley. How are you today?
Well, I'm fighting with tech again, big guy, but I think we're doing all right. Welcome, everybody, to Drew Jays Talk, where the Toronto Blue Jays never suck. I am one of your co hosts, Drew Dudley. With me on the other side is Andrew Sorley, the second half of the Drews. Andrew, welcome back to Drew Jays Talk. It's been fun texting back and forth with you all week about the Jays.
Well, it's been a good week of Blue Jays baseball, Drew, and thanks for all your hard work in getting us set up. And let's dive into it. It's been a good week.
All right. Well, I think the first thing we got to do, my friend, is we have to do a recap of how our Toronto Blue Jays did over the past week. So, everybody, since we last talked last week, and that would have been Tuesday noonish, which seems to be like we're not going to say Drew Jays talk at noon. It's Drew Jays talk at noonish on Tuesdays. The Jays have gone 4-2. They split their last two with the Astros. They took 2 out of 3, which I'm sure we're going to be talking about in the Bronx against the Yankees. And they lay claim to the series opener last night. Best part, my friend, not a single dud from the starters. Every single starter through this turn, at least 6 innings, gave up fewer than 4 hits, and less than two runs or less. So, man, let's just dive into it. What'd you love about baseball this week?
Well, it's been a good week, and as you said, 4-2. That's a pretty healthy winning percentage. If that is extrapolated out over the whole season, that's more than a 100 win season. That's like 115, 100, yeah, something like that, 115 win season, which would be record breaking. So taking 2 out of 3 is a recipe for not only playoffs, but that's a championship recipe, Drew.
Yeah, I was talking to my buddy Alan and saying, what do you think is going to happen coming up? And I honestly thought if you can come off the road trip against the Astros and the Yankees, having gone 500, I would have looked at that as a success. I mean, the Astros are scary good. It's that simple. I know the
Right.
Yankees were missing a few players, but will you come out ahead out of doing that? I just want to take one of those series and not get embarrassed in the other one. And even that big blowout against the Astros, Barrios still pitched really, really well. So, I mean, it's hard not to be excited. And I never felt last night, and this is Tuesday, so last night was that White Sox opener. I just never felt like they weren't going to light it up last night. I mean,
Right.
that's a hell of a pitcher out there. Lance Lynn is fun to watch pitch. He dotted a couple on the outside corner that, like, just as a baseball fan, it was nice to watch, but I never doubted. They just look so calm up there. So, I mean, 4-2 since we last talked. There was a day off in there. I'm absolutely thrilled because I'm with you. Like, people are going to nitpick on those one games, but you're playing at 600, 66%. The only problem is the whole bloody division's playing like that.
It's a extremely tight division. I mean, I know that the Baltimore Orioles are surprising a lot of people. I saw them play at the end of last season, and I said to somebody, I don't remember who, this team is ready. And of course, the Rays are killing it. The only surprise, and it's not really a surprise, is Boston's just struggling right now. So the AL East is as tight as it ever has been, and I'm here for it. I love it.
Yeah, and I look at it. We're talking about things to look like to get excited about. I got to be straight with you. Like the Jays have played a good schedule off the top. It's not like the Rays, who look, they're still winning. There's no way around it. But the Jays have played. They played the Rays. They've handed them 2 of their 3 losses. They played the Yankees, and except for the fact that the Yankees play in a T-ball park, they win all 3 of the games down in the Bronx, right? So I feel really, really great. And I just feel as if when they play teams like the White Sox, who are like sick talented on paper, I get that. Like you just feel like they're going to win. Like I just go
Yeah.
into those games feeling like they're going to they're going to beat these teams, and then they're going to go 500 against the absolute best. And if you go 500 against the absolute best, you're a World Series contender. Like that's the way I look at it.
Agreed. Agreed fully.
All right, brother, you want to dive
Well,
into what you're loving this week?
we've got some great things this week, Drew.
All right, what do you got?
I'm too legit to quit. And what do I mean by too legit to quit, Drew? Whit Merrifield. This guy seemed to the average fan like a throw-in. seemed like a bench player that just 25th man on the roster or something like that. No, this guy is exciting. Don't matter where you put him in the lineup. You put him up top, you put him down the bottom. He hustles, he grinds. I love this type of player. Knows how to get the bat on the ball. He's led the American League in hits, I think 2 years in a row. Not in a row necessarily, but the last couple of years he's led the American League in hits. Um, I just like this guy. He's scrappy. What are your thoughts on Whit?
You know what, man? I actually think, I don't know for sure, but I think Bo has led the last 2 years, and Witt was the 2 years before that. So again,
Fact,
adjacent.
we're stat adjacent. Yeah.
But you just hit on something I was thinking of as well, is that the Jays have in their lineup, I think, 4 of the last 6 years of Major League hit leaders or American League hit leaders. And look, Merrifield, when he came over, I'd always been a Merrifield fan just because of how versatile he was. But the question is, if someone's that versatile, you always have to ask yourself, is it because they're not particularly good at any one thing? And I think that used
Right.
to be the case. I don't think it's the case anymore in the majors. I think that type of player who apparently, like if you look at Merrifield, they're playing him every day. He looks really like he's going to be the everyday left baseman, left like second left fielder. So he tore one into left field yesterday. And the thing is, he also steals bases. And I love, like, if there's any big thing with the rule changes, it's the base stealing. I mean, Vladdy's taking off, Bo's going all the time, Merrifield's running, like all teams. And I think it's just great for baseball. And I think that the Merrifields, the Biggios, the Varshos, these really smart base runners. And Vladdy's a smart base runner too, although he probably takes more chances than we'd all love. I love it, man. I love Merrifield because I think not only Merrifield himself, but I think the type of baseball that he represents has made him like someone I really love to see walk up to the plate. And who knew, like, that we're getting a 300 hitter? It's weird how, like, do you find we diminish hit leaders? Like, they're just like, oh, he led the American League in hits. I'm like, that's a big deal. We
Sure,
had a
it's a
guy
big deal. Yeah.
same thing, man. I'm with you, man. Like,
But
the additions this year to the Jays, the additions. Uh, I really thought I was going to miss some of those faces, like Lourdes and Teoscar. And you do the energy, but in terms of what they bring to the team, the Varshos and the Merrifields are better fits for what the Jays need right now. I don't know if you
yep,
feel the same way.
I love it. Let's move on to one of your things here.
You know what? I'm loving the gamesmanship. I love Vladdy pulling out, like, this time it's a family business thing, and just like hinting at, obviously they did something to piss off his dad, right? And though there's something about that, but I kind of just, I don't know about where you came down on this, but I'm all for bat flips. I'm all for pitchers like wailing after they strike guys out. I know this whole baseball purist stuff. Everybody who says, "Oh, they miss the pure days of baseball," misses guys like pitching on LSD and doing coke in the dugout and smoking. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
these were not the same athletes. These are the absolute best to ever play baseball on right now. I'm not saying if Mickey Mantle came out and played right now that he wouldn't be Mickey Mantle, but he'd be Mickey Mantle because he'd be in the weight room all the time. He'd
Right.
probably be better. But I love this old school piece that's come back. Vladdy saying, "I'll never play for the Yankees." Scherzer messing around with the pitch clock and maybe some other stuff. I love the gamesmanship. I love making Yankee fans booyah. I love that he's a villain, and then he goes into Yankee Stadium and rips it up. I love in baseball, not just with the Jays, that players are saying not cookie cutter stuff. I love you, Bo. I love you. But give me Kevin Kiermaier on an interview where you just never know like what he's going to say any day of the week. What about you, man? Do you like? Are you more old school, where like be polite, tip the cap, or are you more of a you love this stuff?
I just got a note from Emily, my lovely wife, and she says I have to close the cupboards. Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
I actually
You
I'm on
know,
the live chat now on YouTube, my friends. I've also figured out how to see the live comments. So at
heyo,
least on our
heyo.
YouTube page, I'm watching that. If anybody out there, we're doing it baby steps, my friend. But yeah,
Yeah.
where do you fall on the bat flip gamesmanship?
So I love a bat flip. I mean, Jose Bautista, right? Come on. I remember when millions of people were saying that doesn't belong in the game, get it out of here, and now there's a bat flip every other day. Um, I'm all for it. One of the things I love with the gamesmanship is, Kirk waiting till there's 1 second left on the pitch clock, and then running up and calling time. Not only buying his pitcher Gossman an extra couple of seconds to just reset, but a batter calling time right before the pitcher gets into his windup. I love that. It's cheeky, and they know what they're doing. These aren't. Everyone says, oh, they're always calling timeout. It's not because they need to adjust their gloves. They're doing it to mess with the other guy. And
you know what?
From my perspective, that's okay.
Yeah, I'd rather see them step out to mess with the pitcher, like actually have it part of strategy, than the fact that Garcia Parra had to fix his batting gloves every single time he stepped out of the box. You know what I mean? Like, that's
Right.
not entertaining.
Right.
But watching them, and then you start to realize that your mental acuity, mental strength has always been a thing if you're going to play Major League Baseball, especially on the pitcher's mound. But now you're starting to see that's another talent, right? That the ability to deal with the fact that you might have the nastiest stuff ever, but if they can get in your head and batters know it, it's going to add that little piece to it. And so I love it, man. I love that Vladdy's made himself into a villain. I think the Yankee fans legitimately respect him, and that's why they hate him. You know what I mean? It's not like it's like Judge. Like I go in and I'm like, oh, Aaron Judge, God, like, you got to hate Aaron Judge. But would I take Aaron Judge in a half a second? Without a doubt. But I think it's great. I think it's nice that he said something. I think it's cool that Kiermaier is saying we're going for it. And I just think that makes for better all around. Now, I'm talking about how they sound. My understanding is out of nowhere this week, Andrew is all about the uniforms. What's going on? Like, what of all the stuff to talk about this week, you all of a sudden were like, by the way, we have the best uniforms in the majors.
It's true. I didn't wear my jersey today. Actually, I could probably go get it, but I don't want to interrupt our flow here because I brought it, but I didn't put it on. I think we have the best jerseys in all of baseball. People are going to fight me on that, but that's all right. The baby blues, you got the baby blue on today. You look great.
Yeah.
The royal navy blue, whatever color we're calling that. For me, that's my favorite. But then we got the nice whites.
I can tell you the Pantone because I looked it up for our design. But just so everyone knows, that is the proper Blue Jays Pantone color.
It's a great blue.
Yeah, it really is.
From my perspective, I mean, over the years we've had some kind of tough jerseys, some tough logos. I think we're in a really good, clean spot right now. I think the font is great. I'm just loving everything about the jerseys right now. And I play this game with my nephew, Thomas, who I talk about a lot. We do this. We go through the roster and we say, okay, when you think of Vladdy, I'll do it with you, Drew. When you think of Vladdy, what color jersey immediately comes to mind? You can't think about it. You just, what color?
Baby blues. The baby blues.
Baby blues. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you think about Danny Jansen, what color do you immediately attribute it to Danny?
You know what? The grays. I don't know why, but when I think
interesting, the road gray.
Same with Roberto Alomar. As soon as I think Roberto Alomar, I'm thinking the gray 92, 93 away jersey. But it's weird. Okay. You're right. Okay, pick somebody else. I'm intrigued.
Jordan Romano.
Jordan Romano. I think I pictured Jordan Romano in the baby blues as well.
Okay.
Like
okay.
Baby blues.
Yeah. So this is a fun game, and we kill a lot of time. It's almost like car bingo when you're having a long drive. Sometimes this game will take Kevin Pillar. There you go. I picture him wearing all whites.
Really, I'm the dark blue with Kevin Pillar. I don't know why,
but this is how fun.
Devo's the all white. You know what I mean? Joe Carter's the all white, without a doubt, the all white with the little numbers on the front, or the little J on the front too. So that's true. You actually do. Are you a number on the uniform guy if you get the jersey, or are you a blank? Because I got blank going here. But are you a numbers guy?
Drew, I'm gonna just call you out. I think you got to commit.
Really?
And you know what? You got to put the number and the name on the back, and you don't like. I don't like any of this like number one dad on the back of the jersey. No, get a number, get a name, show me who you're cheering for. It's funny. I was at the game last night and I saw someone walking around with a Grichuk jersey, and I was like, ah, did they? Ugh,
What? Come
did they?
on. For me, it's
Did they?
look. It's all positive. The Jays never suck. That's
Yes. No, they
the whole
don't.
thing.
They don't.
But let's just say that I don't have a Kobe Rasmus jersey hanging in my closet. But for what it's worth, one of the things we used to do when I had season tickets, so we'd be up in the second deck, and we'd always look down when whoever was there with the game, and whoever could find the most obscure Toronto Blue Jay player jersey would win. Like would have to go and buy the hot dogs, or sorry, would get the hot
Yeah.
dogs bought for them, right? So
Sure.
you know,
Sure.
you're
Sure.
gonna look out there and you're going to see like oh god, like there's a lot of smoke jerseys, but then you go back and like there's a Manuel Lee jersey
Sure.
kicking there, or a Tommy Lawless, or a Garth Orange.
I think
That
it signifies a moment in time. I don't think your jersey at the game has to be a current player on the roster, but I think it's, you know, yeah. I mean, hey, if you're wearing a Dave Steeb jersey, fine, um, all in. But yeah, for me, I've got a Manoa jersey in white. I've got a Vladdy jersey in blue. I have a Team Canada, Canada Day. Sorry, not Team Canada. I've got a Canada Day red jersey. Pull that one out on Canada Day. Um, yeah, so I've just got the three right now. And my first jersey, you asked me who my first one was. Um, well, my first legit like expensive jersey was Vladdy, Royal
oh
Blue.
yeah.
Yeah, I would have had like T-shirts before then, but a couple
See,
of
I'm
years
not
ago, I
the
decided, hey, you know what? It's time.
See, I got to be honest with you, man. I got a couple of. I have every jersey. I like every single one of these Jays jerseys I have bought over the years. I've got the blue on white. I've got the white on the dark blue. I've got the white on the red. I got the rare red on the white,
Mm.
which no, and then I got the baby blues here. See, I hate to say it, my friends. These are my least favorite. I love sport in the Jays, but these are in fact my least favorite. My first though,
The powder blues your least?
yeah, believe it or not, I know everybody loves the powder blues. They love them. I like honestly, for me, it's the dark blue, like with the white lettering. That to me
Yeah.
is the ultimate with the white pants. I just think that looks so clean. Not that I have a problem with these, but Ernie Whitt was my first one. It's the last jersey I got my dad too. Is the big Ernie Whitt jersey as well. So now
I love it.
you, Mike, let's talk a little bit, if you don't mind, about how not just how the unis look, but how the game looks. Oh my God. Okay, so I'm down in the States. I had all kinds of hassles with the Sportsnet app, but I'm like, oh, cool, I'll do it on MLB TV. Nope, it's Apple TV time. And I did a deep sigh. You and I went back and forth last year on the Apple TV. I think you and I are on the same page. There were big steps forward on the Apple TV this year,
Yep.
particularly for me. Like the three things I loved. I used to hate ump cam. I've seen catcher cam. Like they've done the goalie cam before. I always just got nauseous. But I don't know what
Yeah.
it was. But something about ump cam, maybe the technology, stability. I don't know, or maybe it's fact it's the umpire. Um, I got so much more out of the ump cam this time around than I've ever had in the past, particularly understanding the power of speed changing. I know you and I play MLB The Show, which really opened my eyes to the power of a good changeup, but there was something different about the ump cam, or is that just me, man?
Well, I'll tell you, the whole broadcast by Apple is different than how Sportsnet does their broadcast, and it's different than how Yes Network does their broadcast. It's actually a very new approach to sports broadcasting, which is I think one of the things that we both recognize. Um, there's a lot of little things they tried, and also they're trying to sell some product too, right? They had player interviews, and they're wearing the $900 AirPod Pro Max over the year,
Oh yeah,
these
I
big
ordered
old,
two of them
you know,
last night.
but they're trying to sell that gear while the broadcast is going on. I found last year they were guessing a lot. They didn't know how to pronounce people's names. They weren't sure what to do to fill the time, and that's the mark of a good broadcaster. We're lucky in Toronto to have Shulman and some of the other guys. Yeah, Buck Martinez. Some people think that Buck. You know. Anyway,
I thought Buck was better this year. Like I know he's been up,
Buck
but
is
I
getting better for sure.
I really felt that, now obviously Buck was sick, right?
Yeah.
And you don't really realize how much that was probably impacting him. But I like I
Well,
like Buck, but I like him as a person more than a broadcaster. I've actually found him like more insightful as a broadcaster this year. But I cut you off, brother.
no, no. I was just gonna say, all I would tell you is Apple is jumping huge into the sports world. They have signed a huge deal with Major League Soccer. They've got exclusive rights for some of these baseball games, and some of the fans are saying, "Hey, I can't get the game." Apple also offered people, I think, a 2 or 3 month free trial uh, using like an MLB code. So they're trying, and I'm a big fan of Apple TV. Period. There's lots of great shows there.
Yeah,
Um, Ted Lasso is Apple TV, so you get
we
Blue
we
Jays
are.
and Ted Lasso.
Yeah,
Subscribe. What's wrong with you people?
yeah, man. I
um,
just I found that the scene from the catcher, like there was a changeup that someone threw that you really it was Jano at the plate, and you really saw how he got fooled and leaned out in front. And like I don't know about you, man, but every time a StatsCast graphic comes up, I'm just like, ooh, like I
yeah,
love StatsCast graphics. And the only thing I wish they do more is include the average. Like it's great for me to know that like same thing with me with a lot of the new analytics. I love new analytics. I love OPS plus or ERA plus because it's so simple to be like, okay, 100 is average, so 140 means this guy's ERA is 40% better, or whatever. It's all adjusted for parks and time. I love all of that. But what I do love more is when they say, okay, this guy hit the ball this far. I want to know where that stacks up relative to other people, right? Like, is 102 mile per hour a fast off the bat? We know that, but I wonder if maybe they could. I'd love it if people could do a better job letting me know what is good. Like, what is an excellent OPS? I
right,
know that 300 is a good hitter, but like 900 is a great OPS. Really, 800. Like, what's the 300 threshold in OPS
right.
type of thing? I love it when they bring up StatsCast and they start bringing that stuff, the appreciation for the game. And also, like I love finding out that things that people are freaked out about, they probably don't need to be freaked out about because it's an aberration, not actually what the character is. But I just wanted to say,
Right.
I don't know about you, but I've heard people say they don't like all the statification. Every time a StatsCast thing shows up on the screen, I'm just like, show me the cartoon and tell me what I want to know. Are you on
Right.
the same page?
Right. Well, I love it. I mean, it's funny to see some of the predictability or the prediction stats, the probability, pardon me. Um, but just backing up on the broadcast itself, what I kind of like, because I'm a camera guy, they're using some of the same cameras that Stature uses for their productions, which are different than TV broadcast cameras. Everyone's talking about the Jordan Romano entrance now, and that's on Sportsnet, obviously, but Apple was doing it too. They're using the same cameras we use for our projects, which is cool, and yeah, I just love seeing how they're doing things a little bit differently visually.
The
So
aperture, like so maybe I'm using that
super
term wrong.
shallow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
no,
like
you're right.
yeah, like for anyone who's not aware, what's making some of those images look so much cooler, and you can't put your finger on it, is that from up close they're super clear, but then everything in the background is fuzzy. It's like portrait mode on your phone. That's really new in the last 3 years or so.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to relate it to like, but you might not even realize that. Oh, why does that look so cool coming in behind
yeah,
Romano? It's because they're using that effect, and it
sure,
just makes me feel like I'm on the field, right?
yeah,
Although I don't
yeah,
know about you, but it also makes me feel like I'm so old because like those new cameras, you start realizing these players are like 23, 24 years old. And I'm like, I grew up thinking of baseball players as men. And now it's like, here's a close up of Bo, and you realize that the kid's a baby, right? But that immersiveness, they're doing it in hockey too. The guy all in white at the World Championships, like skating around backwards.
hmm
It just adds to the experience of sports, right?
Well, I so without getting too detailed on broadcast, standards and all that sort of thing, you've seen them, but broadcast television cameras lenses are this big and they're massive, and the reason why they're massive is to give the operator an enormous amount of grace keeping everything in focus. Uh, that's what we've wanted for 50 years. These newer cameras that you're seeing on the field, you do not get that grace. Now they use autofocus, which that's another conversation for another day. But the autofocus can really screw with you. But you can't pick up one of those massive TV broadcast lenses and put that on a gimbal and walk around with it. It's just impossible. So that's why you're seeing this beautiful shot. But the broadcasters are still nervous to use it as a main camera because you can't zoom from Kiermaier in center field all the way to home plate with one camera. You can't do that with the small gimbal camera. So anyway,
and just in case anybody's listening and doesn't know, gimbals are those little like it almost looks like a harness, right? That people are walking on the field, so they're not carrying the camera. It almost looks like it's suspended for them. Yeah. All right, my friend. Next up, you were loving this. You were looking forward to it. I was so psyched about it. I had to listen on the radio, which I'll tell you this though. This is kind of cool, and I feel like a bad fan, but you talked me out of it. That I would start watching the game an hour late for whatever reason, and then I just fast forward through the commercials, and then you catch up around the 8th inning if you start an hour late. So I had to listen to Manoah versus Cole, so I didn't get to see it. But let's throw it to you because, man, like you were champing at the bit for this one. Did it live up to expectations for you? Because I know my prediction was a bounce back for Manoah. That was my end of the show prediction last time.
Well, and I think you got that right. 7 strong innings from Alec. I think I was expecting maybe a few more pitches inside, a little more heat. Relatively clean game from both pitchers. There is nothing I like more, Drew. I'm just going to say this. There's nothing I like more than seeing the Jays jump on top of Garrett Cole. I've seen it in person. I've seen it on TV a number of times. When we get Garrett out of his rhythm, out of his routine, and frankly see him get pulled in the 2nd or 3rd inning, nothing makes me happier. Now, is that me being negative? I don't think so. I think I'm being positive for our Jays.
No, but the Jays never suck. Garrett Cole and Yankees can suck at any given time. Where the Yankees always suck, I think is a better way to put it. Garrett Cole's a beast. Like, there's no way around it, right?
He's fantastic.
It does feel good because it seems like the Jays, it seems like Vladdy's got inside his head, right? Like, you know, when he tipped his cap after the double last year, after the couple of homers, and like Stroman is going on Twitter saying, you know, no one should be able to hit a Garrett Cole fastball inside like Vladdy did. You remember that stuff, right? And hey, he's a beast.
But then
going into the Bronx on Saturday afternoon, right? Yes.
But then Manoah, he goes on to the show with Serge Ibaka, How Hungry Are You? And without pause, calls Garrett Cole the biggest cheater in the history of Major League Baseball.
Okay. All due respect, Alec, I want to be positive too, but you're like 21 years old. Go look up, Google Gaylord Perry and tell me how bad Garrett Cole is. All right? Like,
so speaking of gamesmanship, which we were earlier, I think Alec is he's just throwing a little spark on the kindling there to see if something catches fire. I think he loves it, by the way, and I'm okay with it. I think it's just creating rivalry, which I'm okay with. I love it as a fan. So Manoah Cole, there was no.
If you're going to kick our butt, you're going to have to shower after. You're going to have to get your hands dirty. That was Manoah's quote. I wrote it down a couple weeks ago just to use on the show. But go ahead, man.
Yeah, it was a great game. Jays lost a tough one in the 9th, or was it the 10th? 9th or 10th, probably. Can't remember. Romano came in and just it's baseball. Baseball happens.
Doinked and dunked to death, right? Like,
yeah, LeMahieu just hit a little bloop and is what it is.
I love that player, man. I love DJ LeMahieu too. I know he's a Yankee, but he's Whit Merrifield, really. Like, it's exactly that type of player. So respect. And let me know, people got on Romano. I'm with you though. Like, they had one baseball hit hard, and that was it.
Yeah. Happens.
I think we got to tip a cap not just to Manoah, which was awesome to come back. Like, what did I have? He had 7 innings, 2 hits, 5 strikeouts. I think it was only 1 walk, maybe 2. I didn't actually write that down, but like the whole turn, like, it was amazing. They lost that one to Garrett Cole. It never felt out of reach. It was a Yankee Stadium loss, but hey, like, let's face it, the Jays also get the right field fence. So, I mean, You got to understand that Volpe kid, by the way, just because this whole show is about admiring baseball. That kid, we're gonna be cursing his name for a long time. He made one play, like going to his backhand and firing it across the diamond defensively. That you're just like, oh crap, they got another one right. But I mean, I think it was 39 in the third innings pitched, 18 hits and 5 earned runs for the starting rotation. And I mean, Barrios looked good. I mean, they got blown out that game, but he looked real good. Bassett, man. Like Bassett's, I know we didn't even mention this. You were at the game last night, which Bassett was pitching.
Yep.
I got to tell you, man, I really enjoy watching Bassett on television. I don't know, like, I saw him when I went to the game as well. Getting to see the difference in speed live, that and how fast Bo's bat is are the two things that really caught me live at the game. How was Bassett live? Like, can you see them messing with the batters' heads with the speeds?
Yeah, so last night I went to the game, got last minute tickets, and I've actually been fighting a cold, which I thought about not going, which I was like, no, I can't not go. So we went, and we actually met up with a good friend of ours, both of ours, Drew. We met up with Chris and his son. And yeah, so I wasn't feeling great. Kind of left early, not going to lie, left early. Just wanted to get a good night's sleep. But we sat in the 200 level outfield, which I almost never do. In fact, I can't even remember the last time I sat back there. I usually prefer to sit inside the diamond, either 100 or 200 level, but I feel more connected to the game there. We were sitting out above the bullpens, and yes, it's cool to see the bullpen activity, stuff going on. But it was harder for me to see the game, just being brutally honest. There was a TV sort of up over our shoulder, so every once in a while we'd be looking up there to see what actually happened. So it was more difficult to be engaged in the game. But yeah, Bassett looks great. 6+ innings. Got a little bit hurt. He threw 98 some odd pitches, so I think he should be fine.
Yeah, do we know what happened to him? I know that he like it was very fast that he went off. Like
sore back, I think, something like that.
Yeah, no, it was just great to watch. Like I went actually and watched some of the Cole game against Manoah, like so I could actually see the video. And yeah, like Manoah's breaking ball just looks a lot better, but it's that two-seamer. Like if he can get that two-seamer breaking back down across, that's some nastiness. So hey, look, this is a big one too. The Jays have the least number of innings pitched by their bullpen of any team in at least the American League right now. And I could not believe that. If you really ask people, I think a lot of Jays fans would be like, oh, we're like the starting rotation's a little bit, The numbers actually don't bear that out. And if you'll bear with me before we toss on to one last one, I've decided that Baseball Savant and I are friends. And so what I'm going to try to do is any week where there's things to worry about, we think about the Blue Jays, I'm going to try to look and see if we really do have to worry. So here are Drew's underlying numbers of the week. The Jays have not been hitting with runners in scoring position particularly well. Now, last night, notwithstanding. But, and I picked this up, I think it's probably Aaron Zwelling I should give that credit to, their contact, hard hit, and line drive rates with runners in scoring position are all top 5 in the majors. And as such, the Jays are hitting just fine with runners in scoring position. Like the number of 400-foot smashes by Matt Chapman and George Springer. So everybody out there saying, oh my God, again, the Jays aren't driving runners home. They're doing everything they need to. There's going to be a regression to the means. And again, go ahead, man.
I'm just going to say, Drew, I know what runners in scoring position means, but I heard from some of the people who've watched our show that we should explain some of the more technical terms that we just throw around. What does runners in scoring position mean, Drew?
Imagine I get this wrong now, because you're about to ask questions. Well, it's weird, right? Because when you never explain something, it's always like, oh. I had some international students when I worked at U of T come up because I used a photo of Tiananmen Square, and they came up and said, "What is that? I've never seen that before." Right. And I'm like, "Oh wow!" The first thing I think is, government control of the media, and the second is I can't explain Tiananmen Square. Like it was a horrible thing.
So back to runners on.
Back
runners
to baseball. Baseball. I know, man. It's going to be like that.
Yeah.
Runner scoring position is they consider second base scoring position. Probably because a base hit will more frequently than not score a runner from second base. So
Right.
anybody in second or third base is considered to be a runner in scoring position. So if if
So in
you
theory, when we're
yeah,
playing ball, if you have runners in scoring position and you're up to bat, you have a better chance of scoring those runs versus if they're not at second or third. Maybe they're on
bingo.
first base. There's more of a
And
chance they'll come around to score.
and the Jays have been statistically underperforming when you've got batters on second and third, like against the mean. What usually happens, they haven't been scoring as many, but they've been smashing the baseball, which is key.
Yeah.
And then again, another statistic I heard and wanted to repeat is that one, the bullpen has, if you want to look at long term, like when you look at championship teams, one of the characteristics is the bullpen pitches fewer innings than other teams, and they have higher whiff rates and chase rate. So chase rate means batters are likely to swing at their pitches when they're not strikes. Whiff rate means what percentage of times when a batter swings he misses. Yes, he misses. In this case, we can get away with that. But ultimately, the bullpen has pitched the fewest innings and has among the best whiff rates and chase rates in the majors. So the underlying numbers for both the runners in scoring position problem and the bullpen issue, actually the numbers say that this won't be an issue as we move forward if everyone keeps performing. And my friend Pearson is here, and boy, I can see him slotting in very, very nicely. He's looked dominant. But I throw it back to you, my friend. I just wanted to say that to our listeners or watchers that there is good news on the underlying numbers. And you, my friend, are younger and more dynamic than me. So you are all about the social media, and you wanted to mention and give some love to the Jay social media team.
Well, I'll just say that you know we we have to attract newer, younger fans every single day to our game, and we have to keep people falling in love with the game. I think we're going to talk about that next week in a little bit more detail. But um, for now, I'll just say, it takes an incredible amount of effort to do social media for any company, and I think the Jays have a fantastic team right now doing their Instagram, their Twitter, their Facebook, whatever it is. Um, Probably TikTok, although I don't have TikTok. Um, they do little things like they do great stories. They do great little pieces of content for people, I think, who are maybe just learning how the game works. You saw Gossman there with Das Splitter. Uh, really, that little video there is explaining how the splitter works and just showing the grip on the ball. They're doing great Instagram stories with really nice looking graphics, nice looking video content, and they're quick. They're putting up replays within minutes on Instagram, which hey, that's what Instagram was supposed to be. Instagram was supposed to be instant grams. So kudos to them for putting up high quality content on the old internets.
And we're going to keep learning on how to do that. This morning we had it all tested out, and then Drew had to go and do his job and mess up all of the technical stuff that we do. Hey,
well, Drew, they have a team. They have a team of like 12 people, so don't beat yourself up.
I'm going to try not to. And someone pointed out, they're like, "Hey, we haven't talked much about who we are and what we do. We just dove right in." And I was always like, honestly, man, I was just kind of saving it till the Jays went like 1-6 one week, and we had not like. And then it was like, "Hey, why don't we talk a little bit about who Andrew and Drew are?" I know.
Yeah.
But Andrew, do you want to give I know this is a weird place to do it. Like, do you want to give a 30-second? Because you mentioned stature, and I'm sure there's some people being like, "What's stature?" Do you want to just give like a 30-second who you are? We dove right into why we love baseball, but
Sure.
we got lives outside of this. So go ahead, my man.
Yeah. So thanks, Drew. So Stature is my wife Emily and my company, and we do video production, we do commercials and corporate video and documentaries. And I actually think that's how you and I met, because I'm pretty sure we filmed you at some point and became friends that way. We also have a lot of mutual friends. Our company travels right across the country, sometimes around the globe, depending on what the ask is. And haven't done as much travel since COVID, but yeah, we just make videos depending on what the ask is. and I could get more detailed about it, but that's a good primer for now.
And
I've,
yeah, we'll
I've
dive a lot more in, I think, when the Jays have a bad week.
yeah, but I've been a Jays fan since I was a kid, and so happy that we connected, Drew, you and I, and get to share our passion with some other people who might tune in.
Yeah, and my friends, I met Andrew. He was filming a speech I was giving. I'm a professional public speaker and an author, and worked at U of T for quite a few years, and now I travel around the world. So you'll see over the course of Blue Jays, or sorry, Drew Jays talk. My apologies. I don't want us to get sued. That I'll be in different places more frequently than Andrew will be, and I want to be very clear. If there's technical issues, it has nothing to do with Stature Films. It is entirely to do with things on my end. So I don't want Emily or Andrew making any mistakes that I make reflecting on all of you. But I've been a Jays fan. The first thing my dad did, first time he left me at home alone, was to go to that first game. So that's who we are. I'm a traveler. Andrew's a traveler, and we haven't had a chance to see a ball game together yet. But maybe there's a chance. But like, who knows? Before our next episode, but. You know what, man? I just love coming on and talking about things that we can celebrate on the baseball side. And I'll leave with this. I know we got burned on it last night, man, but I love that little center field wall. I love it. The Jays are going to get screwed just as often as other teams, and every time it's going to be awesome. That was an amazing catch last night, even if it robbed the Jays, right?
Yeah, yeah. Chapman had this look of just despair on his face, but it was Lewis Robert, right?
Yeah, he's a beast,
Yeah.
eh?
Oh,
I'll
he's so
tell
good,
you.
so fast.
I'll tell you too, man. Like, think of this. Chapman's hitting what, 400? Like, Jays fans, you're seeing a tear here. Like, I know he's not hitting like 15 homers like Edwin would do some months, but he's ripping baseballs right now. And what, four that should probably be extra base hits as well. Like, everybody just sit back and enjoy, because you know what? This might be our it's Matt, Marcus, Simeon, Chapman over there at third base for this year. And let's wish him nothing but the best. So, because as long as he's doing it, go ahead.
Do you have any comments that people have made or anything like any? I see Blake is logged in. I don't know if he's still here, but hey, Blake, how you doing?
I got to be honest with you. If you're watching here, I'm learning how to do and see these things. I can see our stream on Facebook, or sorry, not on Facebook, on YouTube, but I'm actually not seeing it on Facebook. If anyone's on Facebook, let me know, and I'll see how I can see your comments.
Yeah, we have to. The two of us don't do a ton of live video. In fact, our friend Blake, who I was just mentioning, he's done something like, I don't know, 2,000 of these daily live videos.
Oh, here we go, brother. We are on Facebook right now. I got a comment here from this is on my Facebook page. I'm not seeing it on my professional one. So I've got Adam Langer asking if we discussed Scherzer getting tossed for the sticky stuff. Is it positive if Matt Scherzer's getting tossed? I think it's still positive if Matt Scherzer gets tossed. I didn't have much to say.
Oh no,
except he did it.
He got a 10-game suspension.
Yeah, and he did it. Like, I saw, he was all upset about it. But if anybody's going to push the envelope, it's going to be Scherzer, and I don't get why. He's better than everybody without it.
Yeah, hey, maybe he hasn't been without it.
Possibly.
They showed, I think it might have been David Cohn. I saw something on social somewhere. Put some rosin on his hand, then put some rubbing alcohol on his hand, and he picked the ball up just like this, and the ball was sticking to his fingers like this, and he was like shaking his hand, and the ball wasn't dropping. Just rosin and alcohol.
Yeah.
I think Scherzer just got caught, frankly,
Yeah.
and that bums me out because we don't like steroids, we don't like performance-enhancing drugs, we don't like trash cans. George Springer, love that guy. He is going to wear trash cans just being a member of that Astros team for his entire career, which I hate because George is like one of my favorite dudes.
Yeah.
So is Scherzer a cheater? Is he? I don't know, man. I want to believe he's not. I want to believe he's, a workhorse, exceptional pitcher, but is he a cheater? Did he just get caught? That's tough.
And is everybody a cheater only when they get caught? You know what I mean? Like, That's the question. Is like Vladdy was saying, he's doing it all along, but Gaylord Perry spent an entire career and went to the Hall of Fame doing it. And
Mhm.
so I think it's a function of the times. Look, I gotta say, I think baseball's done an amazing job making the game more exciting right now, and I think they
Yeah.
had to make those changes. Will they change the mound? Because let's face it, there has never been this many pitchers throwing this much filth in baseball history. Like
Mhm.
even that, like there was one guy I can't remember who came on for the Sox last night, just throwing filthy, nasty stuff. He couldn't hit the plate, right? But
Yeah.
103-mile-per-hour sinkers with 18 inches of run. Like the game's not going to be exciting, and the fact that Mike Trout is still hitting 40 home runs when pitchers are throwing that, um, they're going to have to adjust for the fact that pitchers are just throwing nastier stuff than ever before. And
Yeah.
you know what? If we got to try to balance it out a little bit, because right now I think the batters are at a disadvantage, and they're fine with it because it's not important to hit 300 anymore. So when pitchers
Right.
started throwing pitches stuff, they said, "Fine, just hit 1 out of 5 at bats, hit a home run, or 1 out of 9 at bats. You're a world class hitter." Where it used to be, if you hit 200, it didn't matter how many home runs you hit, you were a liability, right? So
Yeah.
look, baseball's different. I thought it was going too far into the strikeout, walk, or hit, which, I guess we could say this about the Jays. They in the Bronx looked like the Yankees used to look like when they'd walk in and take like 8 pitches at bat.
Mhm.
Like the Jays are running starting pitchers up to 50 pitches by the end of the third inning. Kirk, I don't care if Kirk's not hitting. What he's got, they said he's got a 400 on base percentage. Like everything that's seems to be a problem with the Jays, the underlying numbers say, don't worry about it. If they keep performing at this level, it will all even out, and we're keep going to win
Yeah.
60% of the games.
Yeah.
I'm couldn't be more thrilled, man. I believe they can win absolutely every single game in the seventh inning when they're down 8-1, and they have done nothing to show that yet because they're still sort of spinning their wheels, still trying to get it, and they're still playing 66 ball against the best teams in the majors. When these guys start playing
And
the
again,
Central Division of anything, like National League, anything
yeah.
Central, American League Central, yeah, like look out.
I think next week we'll spend some time talking about the rebalancing of the schedule. But I'll just
Yeah,
say, and we should probably wrap up here. I'll just say
yeah,
that we are seeing some absolutely exciting baseball. You'll hear people say meaningful baseball in September, meaningful baseball in even August. We're seeing meaningful baseball in April, Drew, and I think we got to celebrate that.
yeah.
Got to take the fun and the buzz and the electricity for baseball and just enjoy it. Have fun watching these games.
It is. I can't wait to go to on one with you. We'll last thing we go with before we have to go. What's your prediction for this week?
Well, we've got a series against Seattle coming up. We got to get through the White Sox first. Seattle are a good team. It'll be nice to see Teoscar back. Seattle's tough, so I'm just gonna suggest we walk over these White Sox, and then I'm gonna suggest a sweep against the White Sox, and I'm gonna suggest 2 out of 3 against Seattle.
You know what? You just took directly out of my mouth what you were saying. So I'm going to say this. I think Gosman's going to K double digits again the next time around. So, but I'm also with you. I think we sweep the White Sox, and I'd like to see us take 2 out of 3 for Seattle. Not going to predict it, but I'm going to predict that not only do they beat the White Sox, but they do it handily. I think they make a statement over the next couple of days. Man, I love talking about what I loved in baseball this week with you. Any last
Right
thoughts
back
before
at
we
you.
call it?
Yeah, my last thought, and I'm just trying to do the research super quick here. By the way, as I'm doing my research, did you see that while we were talking, Brian Reynolds and the Pirates just signed a huge deal?
Really, I
There was
love
some
Brian
chat
Reynolds,
of
man.
there's some chat of Reynolds making his way to Toronto, so um, they had some stuff happening in the
Who's
offseason that didn't seem too nice.
Who's the last
But
switch hitter the Jays had on their team that you can remember? I guess it would have been Smokey. Yeah, it's
no,
crazy.
we've had some recent or more recent guys.
If anybody on the
We'll do
comments, let
some
us
we'll do
know.
some
But
research.
yeah, but I'm like the Jays and switch hitting just was not. I mean, I remember playing the Rays. All I could think of is where, other than MLB The Show, do you see a lineup with four switch hitters in it? Like I just haven't seen that in ages. Like who puts this team together? My friend, always a pleasure. We'll be checking out some games this week. A couple more against the White Sox. I really enjoyed it. Sorry we started late, everybody. This is all on me. We'll figure it out. But from one Drew to another, thanks for joining a place where the Jays never suck. We'll see you next Tuesday at noonish.
See you guys.